Bom dia, good morning.
Bom dia, guys.
Rafael and I, we are starting our podcast for the week. And today we're gonna talk about bulletproof, how to empower your kids with Jiu-Jitsu for them to succeed in life, have more chances to don't get bullied in the school. My name is Jackson Fortunato. I have been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for nearly 20 years. I started back in Brazil, early days when Royce Gracie was just coming out on the UFC event, and Jiu-Jitsu have grown so much that I have spent the last 14 years of my life teaching Jiu-Jitsu. I lived in London in the UK for 10 years and have been in the US for 6 years now. Rafael, where you come from, Rafael?
So one thing before we start, we didn't tell anybody a little bit of a story, so that's why we're doing this. I come from, my name is Rafael Castillo. I was raised in Venezuela. I was born here in the US. When I was 17, I moved back here. I moved from the US when I was 4. I lived 4 years here and then go back to Venezuela, 13 years, and then 17, 18, I came back. And then I stayed here for as long as being here. So I'm 25 right now, and I found Jiu-Jitsu because I started like building a little bit of my entrepreneur curiosity. I started working with other people on websites and stuff like that for small businesses. And then I remember that I always play Memorial Indoor. I always play soccer Mondays and Fridays. So I saw there was a jiu-jitsu mat here before, and I got a little bit.
Just to make that clear, we are in a sports centers that we offer soccer, dance, conditioning training, and of course jiu-jitsu. So that's why Rafael was doing soccer next door, and walking by the gym here, he could see us training jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And since he was interested already, I think you already have followed Henner and those guys, and then what's the name of the guy?
And Ty Lopez, yeah.
Ty Lopez, yes. Ty Lopez was a guy that I remember Rafael told me like, oh, Ty Lopez, this guy, he's a very good businessman, but he really training a lot of jiu-jitsu and
I saw a video of them together, and that's when and then from Ty was learning about books and stuff like that, and then I started my journey. But that can be a story for another day. But just to simplify, I was like Jackson said, we're inside a soccer academy, so I was playing soccer here, and then I passed by and I remembered that there was a jiu-jitsu academy here, and from all those videos online and Gracie breakdown and all that stuff, I saw it sparked a curiosity in me about jiu-jitsu. So I started looking for a small academy so I can help out, and then I found Jackson, and not only that I like the academy, but I like Jackson enough for me to like, okay, I think this is something, an opportunity here that I can help out, and it's awesome environment to be in. So after that, everything is story.
Yeah, we connect very well, me and Rafael. Rafael was starting to explore the business aspect of life. And of course, I was running my gym for a couple of years already, and I was looking for somebody that really want to commit with the business aspect and training at the gym, and couldn't be better. We've been together, working together, and our gym have grown so much. We have so many projects coming along for this year and next year. We are super excited. And of course, Jiu-Jitsu is growing so fast. We just saw this weekend Kron Gracie using like basic Jiu-Jitsu movements to defeat a very good striker in a real fight situation. So
24 years later, after he was
25 years, yes, 25 years since
the last win or something like that.
Since Jiu-Jitsu faced the best striker in the world, and 25 years have passed, and still as effective as before. Totally. And that's why one of the reasons we're gonna talk about kids training Jiu-Jitsu today. And
Kids and bullying in our experience as well. Jackson and I have experienced bullying, so we're gonna tell a little bit of stories and how we basically like grew up through it and how we solve it and how we could have done it differently maybe. And so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu is very empowering for kids because you learn how to control somebody bigger than you. And most of kids, they don't really understand what they do in the beginning. When they start here, it's pretty much a lot of games. The first program for the little kids from 5 to 8 years old, they pretty much play games the whole class. You know, all games related with Jiu-Jitsu, how to learn, how to control, how to manage the distance between you and a potential bully that can try to intimidate you in the class. And one of the most important part of our program is the verbal part that can actually finish the problem even before the problem really starts. You know, that's why we really try to teach the kids how to verbally try to stop somebody that's trying to intimidate. You know, like putting your hands up and keep a good solid base, look in the eyes and telling the kid to stop. It's a major understanding of the cycle that's the bullying epidemic going on out in the schools there. And of course I have 2 kids. My oldest is 12 years old and I use him as my spy inside the school. You know, I really like using my son to tell me what he sees in the school every day, and he loves to share with me and tell me like, and it's lately, he's on 6th grade now, lately every day when he come in the car and I ask like, did you see any fights today? He always see it. He actually reports me like all the kids come around and make this circle to watch kids fight in the school, and that's, we talk about 2-3 times a day sometimes. Okay, and it's funny that he reports me too that there's a lot of girls fighting. There's a lot of girls. He noticed that there's a lot of girls that get in altercation in the school. You know, sometimes we think like fights is more related with boys in the school and they fight, but that's not true. I think, I don't know exactly what the statistics are. That's something that actually we could work it on and ask the kids. We asked the other day to the kids and say like, hey, do you guys see more girls or boys fighting in the schools? And it was kind of a mixed answer. So I assume that it's pretty even, the amount of boys and girls fighting. You know, I haven't heard any of the kids saying that they see a girl fighting with a boy. It's usually 2 boys or 2 girls arguing and fighting together. And then for the older kids from 9 to 13 years old, we have a program that's much more similar with the adults program, that you really going through the techniques and you really learn the technique names and how to apply them in a better way. You know, it's very simple. There's only 36 techniques. No, for the kids it's 32. 33 techniques for the kids. They learn pretty much these 33 techniques, and then we have the black belt club on Saturday for this older group. That's is kids that just by invitation, we invite the best kids from the juniors group for them to be part of the black belt club on Saturday. That's a no-gi class, and they really simulate very, very real fight situations. For example, you walk in the room and you see your friend on the floor with somebody mounted on him. Okay, the situation is not even with him, it's with a friend. But we try to instruct him and tell him how he should behave if he see a friend in a problem. You know, that's recently happened with my son, and I'm gonna share that story in a little bit. What's happened with my son in the school the other day.
And one of the things that, and now we can break it down a little bit of how different stories and how we handle the situations when we're younger, and what can we do differently. So I know that most people, we had that feedback from the first podcast, that the story about Babão. So can you tell the famous story about Babão?
Babão?
So what jiu-jitsu do you apply then, and what can you do better in that situation?
Babão was a guy that bullied me when I was already older. I was around.
So imagine that not only kid is gonna get bullied, but
Yeah,
you
I
can
was
get
already
your
like
older
17 years old, 16, 17 years old when I faced Babão situation. That was this person in my city that was well known for being a troublemaker. He was a huge guy, and we always hear like Babão got in trouble here, Babão got in a fight there. So he was well known of being a very, very experienced bully.
aggressive all the time.
And for some reason, Babão had this personal issue with me. Okay, everywhere I go and Babão walks by and he sees me, he comes and walks towards me and say, "Hey, are you here? You watch out, you watch out." Okay, he was always intimidating me. And actually Babão, he delayed my jiu-jitsu journey a couple of years because Babão was a member of the jiu-jitsu school in my city when they first opened the first jiu-jitsu school in my city, probably around 1996. I think that was the time when I first saw a jiu-jitsu school in my city. And then watching UFC and seeing Royce, and I said, man, I want to learn this. I think this is something really good. So I went to the gym to ask for information, and what's happened when I walk in the gym, Babão was there training with his friend. It was a tiny, very, very tiny gym, like these people piled up training there. And I walked by and I sat there and I didn't see Babão, and I was just watching the training. And then Babão saw me like, "Oh, you there? Oh, you're gonna train jiu-jitsu here? Oh, that's great. Yeah, come train here. I'm gonna show you what's happening here." And I was like, wow, this is very intimidating. So I started anyway, but I always had this fear of Babão. You know, many times I arrived to the gym and Babão was there, and the coach come like, "Hey, are you going to train today?" "No, I can't train today. I have to go early today." And I was always like avoiding the training when Babão was there. I have done a few classes with him there when I was comfortable with other friends of mine that could back me up. But this guy was a really issue in my life, really broke my confidence, and I remember me dropping a lot of things that I could have done by that time because I was scared of Babão.
But he didn't do anything physically, no?
No, it was just verbally.
Like, yeah.
Babão never touched me. You know, apart like a little push here and there, like
more
come
like
and push me,
intimidating,
put the
like,
finger in my face, but he never actually hit me. You know,
crazy.
actually one day was
Sometimes that's even worse.
very funny. I was in a burger house eating with my friends, and I was reporting to one of my friends. He was a military guy. Him and his brother used to be well known to be like very tough guys from the army. And I was telling them like, "Hey, this guy, man, this Babão. Do you guys know this Babão guy?" "Oh yeah, we heard of him. He's a troublemaker." Yeah. And I was telling them in the table, sitting with my friends, and Babão actually arrived to the place, to this burger house. He arrived there, and "Oh, you are here? Oh man," reminds me a lot of Back to the Future movie. You know, McFly, guy that slaps him, and Babão really reminds me of that guy. You know, he come, "Oh, are you here? Oh yeah, you're gonna see when I get you." And my friend like, "Hey, you stop to talk like that with Jackson." And he like, "Oh, who are you?" And my friend stand up and knock Babão out on the ground, and was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? No, this guy is enough. He bullying everybody." And that was the day. This was like a big news over the city because my friend knocked out Babão. I felt like super powerful because I felt like, man, I have my back covered. But actually that's turning more problems later because of course Babão felt that my friend hit him because of me. And then he was even chasing me even more. And the end of the story for Babão is kind of sad. Babão, he passed away. He was involved in drugs and a lot of things. And you could see that he was a kid that didn't have too much structure around him. You know, probably his family was not there for him. Today I can understand much better Babão's problem. And of course I judged him a lot when I was young. But today I can understand that not every bully, they are a bully because they want to be a bully. You know, life lead them towards their way. Most of the times, you know, I believe I'm not, you don't have to go with my words, but I believe that bullies are created by the way that they are raised. I think that's really influenced in the way that's a bully born. And yeah, that was a little bit of the Babão story. A guy that really, really bullied me. And I was not a child anymore. I was like a teenager already. I was 17, 18 years old, going out, going to nightclubs with my friends and meeting girlfriends and stuff. And I remember Babão being a big issue in my life. Everywhere I go, I was thinking like, oh, is Babão here? Would like scan around the place first to see if Babão was not there, and always like thinking of him walking the door and intimidate me.
So it's stressful, like to always watch your back, So.
Yes.
And I think what most bullies, like Jackson said, most bullies are created, and I agree with that, because most of the time, and when Jackson told me that story, and I said, man, he I think in my hypothesis, I'm not sure about the context and everything, but it's funny for us to sometimes know, when we know the behind the scene and the context a little bit of the other person's life, we start to understand like, okay, it makes sense that he was like that. So I think he was envious from Jackson from maybe not having more friends, or thinking that he was alone, or maybe he had a better family, like something. He saw something in Jackson and just exploit that part. And envy, I think, is one of the most, like a trigger in most bullies, is that. And for me, for example, I didn't have like as much as an annoying bully like that, but I had like different encounters here and there. And I was lucky enough because I was a shy kid all the time. I didn't talk much. Most people thought that I wasn't shy, but I was like a little bit like, how do I say it? How do you say like metido?
Metido is like a little
like cocky.
Cocky.
People
yes.
thought that I was cocky. I don't get why, but I didn't talk as much, or I was just shy, and I had a lot of insecurities in myself. So when I went to school, I had two encounters. One in fourth or fifth grade, that I was playing with another kid inside the classroom, and then two kids arrived and started like just sabotaging the game, and I told them like, hey bro, like stop, man, we're just playing here, like can you relax? And then one of the kids say no and throw the ball to the other kid, and I just punch him in the mouth, like right away, boom.
Wow.
And for that reaction, I didn't expect it from me and the other kid either. So I just punched him, and then the kid just broke a little bit of his mouth, and then he didn't do anything anymore. And then that happened the same thing when I arrived to that new city as well. We moved from one place from Venezuela to the other, basically corner from other coast of Venezuela. When I was 9, 10, and then when I arrived to the new place, to a new building, I was meeting like a new group of kids. We were playing soccer, and then I think one kid like fouled me or something like that, and then I think that I fouled the other kid, and then the kid was mad, and then he started to pushing me and everything, calling me stuff, calling me names, and then same thing, I punched him in the mouth and he punched me in the stomach. And then both of us like respect each other after that. And he had his brothers, he has his friends, so he could have beat me up, but just because I defended myself a little bit, he like respected that, and then like shake hands and then let's go home. So in those two situations, what I learned is sometimes you should have to love yourself, and this is something that I have an inside joke with my mom, like love yourself enough to stand up for yourself. Like you don't have to deal with that all the time. And I'm not an aggressive kid. I just reacted that way because I'm like, I'm not gonna have this all the time. So I just like do that, and then they never say anything again. With Jiu-Jitsu, I hope I learned.
It's a very good point, because everybody have their limits, and that's happened with me too. You never tell anybody, you get bullied for years, and the pot just keep like getting more pressure, and one day it's gonna explode. And we see a lot of that happening, people that when they explode after years getting bullied, they end up being like doing a shooting in a school or getting involved in gangs and stuff like that, because that's the reaction they have after years of getting bullied. And as you guys see, we reporting or telling our stories about the bully. We talked a lot about punching. Oh, he punched the kid to defend. Oh, my friend punched Babão to to prove a point and stop the bully at that moment. And I think that's exactly the beauty of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's the only martial art that gives you a choice to win a fight without punch. Okay, you're not gonna punch, you don't have to punch, and that's what we always enforce to the kids. And if you are a parent, if you have kids, you probably will never know everything what's happening to your kid when you're not around him. And the more your kid grow, less you're gonna be close to him, less you're gonna be around, less supervision he's gonna have from you. You can ask him every day, like, hey, how was school? Oh, you don't feel well today, what's happening to you? Some kids gonna tell you everything, but most of the kids, they won't tell you exactly the real story. First, because they feel ashamed to tell you that they didn't perform the way that you're expecting. You know, like you always tell your kid, oh, if somebody mess with you, tell them what's up. Tell them what's up. Don't let nobody mess with you. But when they're alone there,
yeah, it's different.
without you supervising them and telling them what to do, most of them, they're gonna freeze. They don't know what to do. They're not gonna behave and respond to that situation the way they should, you know. And I think that's why Jiu-Jitsu is so important for kids. Me personally, I am obsessed to teach kids. I love to teach kids because the results are just amazing. The results you get from the kids class. I see these kids walking here, the mom coming, oh, he's getting bullied in the school. If the mom is telling me the kid's getting bullied in the school, it's because that happened many times already.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare, like somebody pushed the kid in the school the first time, he tells the mom's come and sign him up for Jiu-Jitsu. That's very rare.
Yeah.
Most of the times it's already like a major problem in this kid's life. He's not performing, his grades are low, he's complaining about stuff, he's not eating well, and then finally the mom find out that he's getting bullied in the school. Yeah. I have find out kids that they come and they tell me they got bullied in the school, but they never told the parents. The parents just registered the kid here for kids program. And I always ask, like, do you have any issue in particular that you would like to work with your child? Oh, no, my kid's 100%, he have no problem. And then after a couple of months talk with the kid, he tells me like, hey, I get bullied in the school all the time. Yeah. And I tell the parent, and the parent, no, he never told me anything. And that's exactly what's happened out there. It's a major problem. And I believe that Jiu-Jitsu is one of the best tools you can give to a child for him to be out there without your supervision, and he will know better how to deal with a bully situation. Okay, that's why we have many levels of how he could use Jiu-Jitsu in a safe manner. And on top of that, all the schools today, they have the zero tolerance policy. Okay, what's really help the bully? The zero tolerance policy really, for me, I don't know. I really believe that the zero tolerance policy really helps the bully more than help the kids that getting bullied. Because now the bully know that there is a zero tolerance policy, that nobody can punch each other. If you punch, you both in trouble. So Jiu-Jitsu goes around that rule. It goes around it.
It's a loophole.
Okay? You're gonna have an even better result than if you punch a kid, but you don't have to. You're not gonna punch, you're not gonna kick, you're gonna tell him to stop. You're gonna tell a supervisor or a principal in the school, look, this kid, he's messing me up, can you please do something? The teacher is busy, he's not gonna stop what he's doing to go there and solve that situation if it's not a major situation.
He's not gonna be there all the time.
He's not gonna be there.
He's not gonna be there
so,
all the time.
And then the kid gonna go in case that he needs to use Jiu-Jitsu and control this kid and put him on the ground and control him and tell him, hey, look, don't mess with me anymore, that's the last time. The teacher already know, the bully already know, so he goes around of the zero tolerance policy. It's a totally non-violent action. He's not gonna use any violence to solve that problem. So I really believe that Jiu-Jitsu is an essential tool for every kid. Even like, oh, my kid's very busy with other sports. Please give your child 1 year of Jiu-Jitsu. 1 year. Yeah. At least 1 year for him to know the basics of leverage and control. Okay, what's happened to my kid in the school? My kid's 12 years old. I believe that he's a pretty well-behaved kid. I haven't gotten too much complaint out of him. Super good grades in the school for the whole time he been there. So the other day, he got home and he told me that he got in a fight in the school, and he finally had to use jiu-jitsu to defend himself. And when he told me that, I saw my son like tackle somebody on the ground and controlling him and twist arm control the kid, but none of that really happened. He was playing soccer. The kid kicked a ball to the goal, and my son caught the ball. And this kid, it's actually is a small kid, well known for being a very bully, to being a big bully in the school. After my son told, everybody know that kid, he messed up with everybody. So he come to my son and say like, hey, you don't block my ball anymore. And my son, no, I'm just playing. Oh, you're just playing, give me the ball now, otherwise I'm gonna hurt you. And my son, hey, come on, don't talk like that. And my son gave the ball to him, and he's still like intimidate my child. And then my son looked at him like, hey, you stop to talk like me, don't talk with me like that, okay? That's the last time I'm gonna tell you. And the kid like kept like pushing him and mess with him. So my son felt like it's time for me to apply what I know. But what he did, in between the time he told the kid to stop until he actually tackled him and put him on the ground, he went and told the teacher. He went there and reported to the teacher. He walked to the classroom. Yeah, he went there and told the teacher like, hey, look, that kid that you actually know is messing with me. I'm just letting you know, because if he come and mess with me again, I'm gonna take care of the problem. Yeah. And then when he turned around to go back to play, that same kid was kicking his friend on the floor. Okay, he already was messing with another kid that was my son's friend. They walk, both my son and his friend walked to tell the teacher. While my son was telling the teacher, that kid followed them and was messing with his friend. His friend was on the floor, and the bully was just not kicking him, but was like kind of pushing him with the foot. Yeah. So my son saw that and he come in, look, you better stop right now, because otherwise I'm gonna tackle you to the floor. And then my kid pushing him away from kicking his friend, and the kid just walk out. Okay, so it was not like a major situation, right? They didn't got in a fight. They didn't really, my son really have to use the physical part of jiu-jitsu, but he used the verbal part of jiu-jitsu.
That is the most important.
100% effective. He told the kid to stop, the kid didn't. He told the teacher, if the kid don't stop, I'm gonna take action, I'm gonna solve the problem. Yeah. While he was telling the teacher, that kid was already abusing of another kid, so he came and rescued his friend just verbally. Come and push the kid away and say, look, that's the last one, you walk away from us. And it's been like pretty much 2 months now, I haven't heard anything. And I know that my son would proudly tell me right now, if that kid mess with him again and he have to take that kid on the ground, I believe he would have a lot of advantage, because first, he's bigger than the kid. Second, he been training jiu-jitsu for his whole life. He know this program as much as I do. And I believe that he would physically handle that situation pretty well. So
you didn't have to like.
That's for me was like, wow. It's just like I gave my child a tool for him to protect himself without me being there. Yeah. You know, and he's 12 now. In 4 or 5 years from now, this is gonna be like 10 times bigger. All these situations are gonna be, imagine like high school, these kids like much bigger situations, escalate much worse than what it was with this kid. Yeah. And now I ask you that you have kid, did you ever heard your kid tell you a story like that? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but the chances of that really happen are huge. You maybe don't know it, but that may have happened to your child in the school. That's very simple situation. Bully, pushing, putting the finger. If my son have not say anything, that kid would see him as a target. Imagine how powerful for this small bully overpowering a big child in the school. How much credits, bully credits he would have with his other bully friends. Like, oh my God, you bully Caden? Wow, you were a professional bully. You bully big kids, you know. But my child went there and stopped that cycle right in the beginning, and I was just happy with that. You know, of course, He's a very privileged kid because he born in the gym. He's here with me the whole day, have breathed jiu-jitsu for his whole life. But most of the kids, they don't have that privilege. I didn't, he didn't. And most of the kids, they don't have it.
I wish we did.
Okay, and I'm not saying that for you to come here and register your kid here and pay and support my business financially. I'm not saying that. Okay, go you yourself, research about jiu-jitsu and share that with your child. You share that with your child. Okay, there's many ways to learn how to teach jiu-jitsu for your kids at home. Teach the little games, play with them. Yesterday I spent like a long time playing with my daughter. I sent the video to Rafael, me and my daughter play in the room, but everything related with self-defense, everything like we are playing, have a lot of fun. She was jumping on me, I was dragging her by the arm and she was hiding in the corner there and like, hey, where are you? She's 3 years old, my daughter is a toddler. Where are you? Come here. Put me on the ground. I was rolling her, going inside her legs and trying to suffocate her in the neck like in a very friendly way. She was putting the knees, pushing me out, stand up in base. I was grabbing the arm, she pulled the arm off and she walked away, laughing with both of us and having a lot of fun. Okay, so you are responsible to give these tools to your child. And it's raining a lot here now. Try to find out. There's many ways. Okay, I found out the way. Rafael, we share the programs here with everybody. But if you don't have the time, if you don't have the money to pay for jiu-jitsu, try to research a little bit and find. Okay, we study by Grace University. We'll get a lot of information from there. It's a website online that's we learn from there. Everybody have access to internet today. It's out there. Find out what the Crazy Horse game is and play with your kid. It's fun. It's a good connection with your child, and you're gonna deliver him something very valuable for when you're not there with him.
Tools are gonna be the confidence. They're gonna be everything that we didn't have in the beginning, and that most probably you didn't have either in the beginning when you were a child, and that you wish that you had, and that we wish that we had in the beginning.
It's a fun thing to do, you know. Today, yesterday we met a person. We went to a meeting, and I asked her, like, did you ever had any
problems in the office?
Any harassments? Yeah. And she like, no, I never had it. And I say like, you have a boyfriend? And she said, no, I'm dating now. I say like, hey, invite your date and go do a self-defense class. Instead of you go in a bar and have some drinks and food, invite your date and go do a self-defense class. It's a fun thing to do. You can go and do with your date there and have a good time together, train together. The same thing with your child. Instead of go, I don't know, to Monkey Joe's one day, go visit a self-defense school. Just make sure that school have the right program for your child. You know, find out exactly what you want your child to learn. If you really want your child to learn some life skills in order to protect herself, if they need, go and visit, research, and give that to your child instead of give only material stuff. Instead of you give him a new plastic toy, spend an hour with your child, research and give him or her a tool that they could play. Games, mount game, you lay down the floor next to each other, 1, 2, 3, let's see who can mount on each other. Boom, scramble with your child a little bit, put him in an uncomfortable situation. So much fun. My son actually heard we playing mount game yesterday. He was doing homework and he came like, oh, can I play with you guys? And then we start to time each other, and my son go with my daughter, I go with my daughter. My wife, when she's home, she jumps in the mount game with us, in the carpet, in the house. You don't need anything apart to know a little bit of what jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah, just the little games and everything. Man, it's awesome.
So we just want to share with, do you have anything else you'd like to share with everybody?
No, I think we're good, and plus we have to go again. So yeah, guys, just to wrap it up, look at gym that it's nearby, look online, look for the tools and everything. We give you one resource.
Jiu-jitsu is amazing. The more I train, the more I share. It's something, that's why it's growing so much. I never knew that I'm gonna do what I do, but I do it with love, with passion. And the more I do, the more I love seeing these kids get empowered every day. I see this kid like look in the eyes and shake the hands strong with a very solid grip. And the little push I do on them, they know how to base, and the parents are so happy with that. We have a character development program that teach the kids a better habits to eat, better way to behave in the house and do the chores. You know, it's life, parenting. It's science that's very complicated. It's very difficult to raise a child, and one of the most valuable things you can give to a child, no doubt, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have no doubt about that. So if you have any questions, send us a message. We can help you without any interest in profit or anything. Or what we do here is just in order to benefit the community, and the reward, the financial reward, come automatically. You know, we never think about that. We just want to help these kids to not become one lost child in the future. You know, there's so many people without any access to any good things in life. You know, that's our mission. We just want to share jiu-jitsu with kids and people that really want to empower themselves in a better way.
Yeah, no, use us as an authority nearby here, and then if you live far from us, for example, you live in another state, another city, just like message us, and then we help you out to maybe find a place that is nearby you, and hopefully do jiu-jitsu. That's the most important part. So after this, we're gonna do a few techniques. Jesse's gonna show his technique, and then I'll show my principle of the week.
Just some basic techniques that you can play with your child at home, and we go from there. It was very good to spend this time with you guys.
Perfect.
And send us a question. If you have any question, just send us a message. We're gonna be more than happy to share any information that could be useful to raise your child. And we are here. You know, we are here. If anything we could help you, we are here.
No, and anything, let us know as well what other topic we can talk about. This bullying part is major, so that's why we want to talk about it. So anything that you can suggest, put it in the comments, and then that way we know, or send an email, or I know that most parents and students are watching, so you can let us know here when you come to class. So let us know.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna check if Rafael is ready for bulletproof class.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a good day.